Poor mother sells flowers with her twins until a billionaire stops his car and changes everything. Late evening winds brushed against the crowded streets as the city lights flickered awake, but for Maria, the night always began long before the sun set. Holding a small basket of wilted flowers and gripping the hands of her 6-year-old twins, she whispered, "Smile, darlings, people buy more when they see hope." The truth was, hope had long escaped her own heart. She hadn't eaten since yesterday morning, but her twins, Lily and Liam, were the reason she forced her trembling legs to move, step by step, through the busy traffic signal. The world had forgotten her, yet she continued to live for the two little souls whose laughter could melt even the darkest sorrow. Every evening, she stood at the same traffic light, offering small jasmine garlands to passers-by. Most ignored her, some frowned, some rolled up their windows. A few dropped coins barely worth a piece of bread. Still, she said, "Thank you," every single time. Because she was raising her children to believe that kindness, no matter how small, mattered. The twins, innocent, barefoot, exhausted, still held the brightest smiles. They practiced small phrases their mother had taught them. "Sir, flowers for your loved ones." "Mom, take this, it smells very nice." They weren't begging. They were trying to earn. That was their mother's biggest lesson. We may be poor, but we will never lose our dignity. But life wasn't always like this. 3 years ago, she had a husband who adored his children and a small tailor shop they built together. Their life wasn't luxurious, but it felt complete. Until one rainy night, a truck spun out of control and took away everything. Her husband died on the spot. The shop closed soon after. And the world moved on, except Maria. She didn't know how to grieve properly, because grief demanded time, and time was a luxury hunger didn't allow. This evening was particularly heavy. The twins were slower than usual. Liam kept rubbing his stomach. Lily kept dragging her steps. Maria swallowed her pain and said, "Just a little more, we just need to sell 5 more garlands, then we can eat something." But even she didn't believe it. People had stopped buying. The city was getting colder. Her children were losing strength. As the traffic light turned red once again, Maria rushed forward with the last of her garlands. She approached a long line of fancy cars. Cars worth more than she could imagine. She tried not to stare at the people inside, dressed in suits, laughing, sipping coffee. Her voice softened as she approached the first car. "Flowers, sir, for someone special." The man didn't even look at her. The second car rolled up its window. The third car ignored the twins as though they didn't exist. Maria held the twins' hands and whispered, "It's okay. One day life will notice us too." But her heart knew she was lying. Suddenly, a sleek black luxury car slowed down near them. It wasn't just expensive. It was the kind of car people stop and stare at. The window rolled down, revealing a sharply dressed man in his early 40s. His eyes were cold, serious, like someone used to commanding a whole world. He was billionaire businessman Alexander Reed, owner of the biggest real estate empire in the country. But Maria didn't know that. To her, he was just another stranger who might turn her away. Before she could speak, Lily tugged his sleeve softly and said, "Sir, can you please buy 1 flower? My brother is hungry." Maria's heart broke. She scolded Lily softly, "No, baby, don't say that." But it was too late. Alexander's eyes widened. He looked at the tiny twins, barefoot, shivering, trying to look brave. He asked quietly, "How long have you kids been out here?" Maria quickly replied, ashamed, "Sir, please don't worry. We are fine. Just some tough days. Please take a flower. It's only 20 rupees. Alexander didn't take the flower. Instead, he opened his car door. He stepped out, and in that second, Maria felt her entire world shift, because the expression on his face wasn't pity. It was something far deeper. It was the expression of a man who had just found a story that would change his own life. What he did next, no one at the traffic signal would ever forget. For a moment, The world seemed to pause. Car horns faded, people's chatter blurred, and only three things remained alive in that moment: Maria, the twins, and the billionaire who now stood inches away from them. Alexander Reed studied Maria's trembling hands, the cracked soles of the twins' feet, and the courage in their eyes. He had seen poverty before, but something about this small family shook him deeply. He asked softly, "Mom, when was the last time your children ate properly?" Maria froze. A tear she didn't permit herself to shed slipped down anyway. "Sir, we're all right. Please, just buy a flower. That's all we want." She tried to extend the garland again, hoping he would just take it and leave. Pride was the only thing she had left. But Alexander didn't move. His voice deepened. "I didn't ask what you want. I'm asking what you need." Those words, simple yet powerful, shattered the wall she had built around her pain. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Her lips trembled, her eyes burned, and her knees threatened to give out. The twins clung to her, confused by the sudden silence. A passing driver honked impatiently, yelling, "Move your car." But Alexander ignored everything. He signaled his driver to park on the side, then bent down to look at the twins eye to eye. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "I'm Lily," she said proudly. "And I'm Liam," her brother added, trying to stand straighter despite his weakness. Alexander smiled faintly. Something the public rarely saw. "Do you go to school?" The twins looked at each other. Maria stepped in quickly. "Sir, they will. One day. When things get better." Alexander stood up. "Things will get better today." Before she could understand what he meant, he took out his phone and made a call. "Michael, bring food. Now. For 3. He paused, glanced at Maria, and corrected himself. "For 4. Within minutes, a security guard arrived with hot meals. Real food. Warm food. The kind Maria hadn't seen in months. The twins grabbed the plates with sparkling eyes, eating faster than their mother could stop them. Alexander watched quietly, something heavy settling in his chest. Maria whispered, "Sir, I don't know how to thank you." He replied, "You thank me by telling me the truth. Why are you out here? And why alone?" So she told him everything: the accident, the debts, the eviction, the hunger, the nights she spent crying silently while her children slept on her lap. She didn't dramatize it. She didn't beg. She simply spoke the truth, with dignity, just like she had lived it. By the end, Alexander's jaw was tight. His fists were clenched, but his eyes carried an emotion he hadn't felt in years. Compassion. He made another call. This time, the command was different. "Prepare the guest apartment at the Rosewood Towers. And call my lawyer. I need papers drafted immediately." Maria didn't understand. "Sir, I don't want charity." Alexander looked her straight in the eyes. "This isn't charity. It's responsibility. You kept your dignity through the ugliest storms. Your children deserve a future. I'm simply giving them the chance they already earned." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a key, a check, and school admission forms for the twins at one of the best academies in the city. Maria gasped, "Sir, no, we can't accept this." "You already have," he replied firmly. "The apartment is yours for as long as you need it. And the check, that's an investment. I want you to reopen your tailoring shop. A woman who fights this hard deserves to build again." Maria broke down, not from sadness, not from fear, but from finally feeling seen. The twins hugged Alexander tightly, two little arms that carried more gratitude than words ever could. And for the first time in years, Maria whispered words she thought she had lost. "Thank you for giving my children a life." Alexander smiled softly and said, "No. Thank them. They stopped my car, not with their hands, but with their hearts." That night, as Maria held the key to her new beginning, she looked at her twins and said, "Miracles happen when we keep walking." And to all viewers watching her story today, she added, "If this touched your heart, please subscribe. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world hope is real."